Welcome to part 7 of my Let's Play series of videos for Dwarf Fortress. I'm Sippy Cup. Hope you're still hanging in there. I know that right now you're probably thinking this game is not that exciting, and you're right, it hasn't really gotten that exciting yet, but hopefully soon some fun will happen. Alright, so what I want to go over in this episode is food production. Now, I came with some food, and in fact, the way that you check this is by pressing the Z key for status. So this gives you kind of a quick overview of what kinds of different guys you have, what your population is, and here, food stores. So I have 9 pieces of meat, 10 fish, 5 plants. I've got a bunch of seeds and only 10 drinks. So this kind of scares me. I have somewhere between 10 and 20. See, this question mark means that you're not 100% sure. This is the bookkeeping skill is what will give you a higher degree of accuracy, and I'll probably cover that later, how to increase that. But for now, just know that if you have a question mark, that means that it's somewhere in the order of that number. Okay, so I want to go ahead and make more food since I just got those migrants and I'm sure they're going to be hungry soon, and I don't want to run out of food and have everybody die. So what I'd like to do, and I'll just kind of show you first what I intend to do, and then I'm going to kind of fast forward in time a little bit to make things a little less boring for you. But so plants can only grow in certain places, and what's more, underground plants need to have wet ground. They need to have mud on the ground in order to grow. So what I'm going to show you is if I go back up to the surface and I try to build a farm, I'm pretty sure I don't have the kinds of seeds that I can grow outside. There are seeds that you can grow outside, and in fact if I designated some of these bushes to get gathered, which I could do right now, so I press designation, gather plants, P, and choose a couple of these bushes. Maybe my farmer will be nice enough to go gather some of these, and maybe I can get an outdoor farm later. Now, you might not always have access to herbalism, depending on whether you choose it or not at the start of the game, so wouldn't count on this for gathering outdoor seeds. So, okay. So somebody's going to come out here and start picking these seeds. They'll take it down to the food stockpile. In the meantime, I want to show you how I would build a farm plot outside. I'm going to press B for build, P for farm plot, and let's see. Apparently, I guess I probably do have the ability to make something out here. If you don't have any seeds appropriate for planting outdoors, it will usually tell you at the time. It's just telling me that there's no mud for underground farm, which doesn't matter because I'm trying to build it outside anyway. So, oh, the heck, it can't hurt. I'll just build one now. You see, this U and M changes the height, so pressing U makes it taller, pressing M makes it shorter. Pressing K and H similarly changes the dimensions. So using U and K, I'll make a little 5x4 farm plot outside here somewhere. And sure, it'll be right about there. Okay, so I'll place that farm outside. Now my other farmer is going to come outside and start building this farm, and it's still in the process of being built. And the way to tell whether it's done or not is you press Q. You can see it says up here, construction is nearly done. Not quite, but nearly. Okay, so this is going to go, and now it looks like it's done. So I press Q again, and I bring my cursor over here. Yeah, so this is what I was afraid of. Notice how now it's telling me no seeds available for this location. All the seeds that I brought with me when I started were for underground plants. Actually mushrooms specifically. Dwarves just love to eat shrooms. So not much I can do with this right now. Now eventually my person who is harvesting these plants might happen upon some seeds, and then I could grow stuff outside. But for now, let me show you how to go about building an underground farm. So you notice this water here. I can use this standing water in these pools to basically irrigate a subterranean farm, and the way you do it is not terribly complicated, but involves a little bit of math. So let me show you. So what we want to do is dig a tunnel that goes adjacent to this, and then we are going to build a plot that is ample size such that all of this water in here is going to drain out onto this plot underground, and the depth needs to be only 1. So what this basically requires doing is saying, okay, I know that there's this much water in here, right? Every tile is 1 square of water, and it's 7 deep. So if I count all of these squares and figure out how many there are, multiply by 7, that kind of gives me like the total volume of water in this. And it will tell me the dimensions of the plot of ground that would be necessary for all this water to spread across. So I'm going to pause while I do these calculations, and I'll kind of get things started digging. Alright, let me resume real quick and kind of show you what I did here. So it turned out that there were 49 tiles of water here. So I multiplied that by 7, I got some number, I took the square root of that to figure out kind of what size square I would need to accommodate all this water once it spreads out, and this is what I got. It's something like 18 or 19 per side. Now this is huge. Ideally you want to have something that's a little smaller because your farm is not going to be anywhere near this big, but well, it'll be great. I'll have all kinds of muddy tiles here which I can make farms for in the future. Once the ground's muddy, it will always be muddy, and that's pretty awesome. Okay, so I'm going to pause the game again while my miners dig this out, and then we'll be on to the next step. Something I forgot to mention while this miner is digging it out and his buddy's being a slacker, there are cave-ins in this game. If you try to dig out an area that's too big without leaving a couple of tiles undesignated for supports, you could have a fatal cave-in. Later in the game, maybe that's not terrible, your miner, maybe you have a few people that are good miners by that point, but early in the game, losing one of your miners can be a pretty big deal. So, err on the side of caution. If you have something that's pretty big, I don't know the exact dimensions that something has to be for there to be a spontaneous cave-in, but this size square seemed pretty huge, so I figured I'd just play it safe and leave these 4 pillars here basically to support the ceiling so there's no collapse. I'll pause it again while these guys finish. Okay, so this is finally done. What I'm going to do now is basically I'm going to dig out the wall and let this water spill out into this room. Ideally it's going to be only 1 unit deep instead of 7, and it's then going to evaporate and leave a nice layer of mud on the ground, which I can then plant stuff on. So there's 2 ways that you can get this water out. One is you can mine straight into the wall and let this spill out, or 2, you can channel. Channeling is different than mining in that channeling basically digs 1 unit down into the ground, whereas mining is only on the horizontal plane. So what I would do, for instance, is I would channel on the ground above this wall here, and I'll show you what I mean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause it. I'm going to go up to the surface, and I'm going to use my designations menu, D, and I'm going to select H for channel. Now I need to make sure that I get the right places, so where I want to channel is, I go down, make sure I'm getting the right places. So I'll do it, say here and here, and here, here, and here. Okay, so now if I move this out of the way, you can see I'm going to channel in those places, which should go straight down from the surface and dig out these walls, which will let all this water flow in. Okay, so here goes. I'm going to resume the game, and there they go. Whoa! My miner came in from above. Okay, so now you see the water is spilling out, filling up this room. Some of the water will be lost to evaporation before it fills up the entire room. I just made it bigger than it needed to be just so that, it didn't go flood my fortress or something. So once this is mostly done, I'm going to pause it for a second, let the water kind of get done spreading across the floor. Okay, well, I'm not entirely sure how this happened, but somehow in the process of doing this irrigation, I killed a firefly. Its remains are right here on the ground. Oh, and you can see my war dog has given birth to puppies. That was what I was hoping for when I took two war dogs, a male and a female. Okay, so now I can build my underground plot of farm. So I'm going to press B for buildings, P for farm plot, and I'm going to choose to make a farm plot kind of in the corner here. So I'm going to make it, let's say 5 by 5. I'll make it a little bit wider than that. Why not? Okay, so there's my farm plot. It's been designated. It hasn't actually been built yet. Gonna let this come. Okay, so the game, I think by default, is set to automatically save when the new season comes. So I'm gonna just pause the video for a sec while this gets done saving. It takes a little bit. Okay, that's finally done. So I'm gonna resume the game. Now here comes my farmer. Now you notice he seemed like he just came out of nowhere. Well, problem with the channeling method is that when you channel down, you have this hole. It's actually a ramp, you see, that leads up to the surface. So this is kind of a security issue now, and there's an easy way to deal with this, which I will now show you. What I can do is designate these ramps to be removed and then build walls here, so that basically when you go to the surface, what you'll have is this pit where the pond used to be, but there will now be basically a wall here that's preventing things from coming in from the outside. I really don't want to have that big gap in my security, so I'm going to press D for designate. I'm going to do Z for remove upstairs ramp. I'm going to select these things here where I channeled. I'm going to resume. So my miner is going to come. Just going to remove those. Okay, now I'm going to build a wall. To build a wall, you press B. You need to go to C for walls, floor, and stairs here, capital C. Make sure you hold down Shift and choose wall, W. Now I'm going to make it the right size to fit this gap perfectly. I'm going to make it out of oak logs, so my carpenter will come and make this wall. Press W again to make a wall for the other side. That one will also be made out of oak logs, so now, in theory, when I resume this, he'll come build this wall. Now it's possible that when he comes and builds it, he'll get trapped in here. If that happens, that's okay. I can get him out. I'll show you how. It will happen occasionally. So anyway, now that this farm is done, I can pause the game, and I'm going to show you how to start planting things. When I press Q and I have my cursor near the farm, you can see now that I have choices of seeds to plant here. If I use the plus sign to go down to plump helmets, I have all of these kinds of seeds, but I want to make plump helmets. That's a certain kind of mushroom. I can select it by pressing enter. Now you notice it's bright white. So one thing to note is that this is only for one season, and by default it's only for the current season. You can let it go fallow and whatever, but I actually would like to make plump helmets year round. So I'm going to switch to spring by pressing A. Go down, select plump helmets, press enter. I'm going to go to summer, B. Go down, select plump helmets. I'm going to go to winter, D here. Plump helmets again. Now I press escape. And when I resume, one of my farmers should start grabbing seeds and planting them here. And that is it for this episode. You should see, here comes my farmer. He's going to start planting it, and you're going to notice kind of little furrows in the field. I actually have two farmers, so they'll both work on this at once. And they'll automatically, plant this stuff and harvest it when the time comes. So that's it for now. Hope you're learning a lot, and I'll see you next time.